Welcome back to the channel. This is the all-new Opel Astra, which, no, your eyes do not deceive you. Yes, we've already had it on the channel, but that was the first look. This is more a long-term thing. One of the things people might say, well, I don't really want a hatchback because I like a crossover or an SUV. Well, the Astra is 14% higher than the previous one. Now 14% is relative to what it started from, but anyway, it's a bit higher. It's wider, it's longer, it's all the usual bits. Now the last car we had a look at was an elite model, and this is an SRI. And in my opinion, not that it counts for anything, this middle spec one, because the entry level is 27,995, the elite is 35 grand, and this is 32. This is the one you go for. It has colourful inlets and inserts in the car. It's got nice black alloys. You can obviously get it in this really bright colour. Two-tone roof, really bright LED lights, and they've kind of taken a retro vibe. You got the visor going on from Opel, but then the headlights, they're not fully clear. They're like old style halogen reflectors on the inside, but then they're bright LEDs. We've got loads of black going on the front. We've got the crease in the bonnet. Seriously, this is the Astra you want, not the Elite. If you want to go for it, do, but this one is perfect. There's a 1.2 petrol with 130 brake horsepower. As we've already covered, there's diesel, there's plug-in hybrid, 180 brake horsepower coming, and there's a 225 brake horsepower version also on the way. Fair to say, side on, it's probably not the best angle on the car. Love the front, I really love the back. Is the 308 slightly better looking, particularly over that curve at the back? You could argue it is. There's a crease in the back door here just to split things up, but it's kind of somewhat a bit of a non-event along the side. Sorry, Astra. That said, not the case for the back. I love this red strip. It's even more prominent on a brighter colour like this yellow. The way the Opel badge just lives in here and lets you open the boot. I love that. The boot spoiler, little red light up here. Again, a bit of contrasting black going on. It is a very pretty car at the back of it. No one can take that away from you. 422 litres is the boot, bigger than a Golf, bigger than a Focus, and lots of the other competition. Almost 1400 litres if you drop down that back row of seats. And as you can see, for context, there's a bit of gear in here. There's also a floor that can be adjusted, kind of pops out and sits into the groove, so you can have a deeper or more shallow boot. Very clever. Bigger than the Golf. That's the main selling point here. The seats have also got 18 different ways of adjusting them. I'll show you now. Opel do like banging on about these AGR German rated seats. You can adjust them here. There's lumbar support for your back. There's leg extenders if you like a bit of support in the back there. They're very, very comfortable, rated by German doctors or engineers or something like that. But look, there's a reason they have that tag, and it is comfortable. If you don't need either of these seats fully back, then legroom is decent. There is room for your feet underneath them. We've got USB-C charging back here, which is more than a lot of places give you. You've got an armrest with access to the rear section of the car. It's not particularly wide, that's the only thing, but don't fit a head through there. I can verify a 4-year-old has tried. And there is a bit of storage at the back of the seats, and yeah, it's generally a perfectly fine place to sit. You've got decent head height for you going on, and you know, it's as good as anything else in the market in this segment. Good bit of safety kit is standard on the car, including frontal collision avoidance, lane departure. You get intelligent cruise control, which will alert you that you're now in a speed that has changed areas. Don't get blind spot as standard. You need to go to the Elite version to get that. So that's a little bit of a shame, but there are small enough differences, and at the end of the day, there is that €3,000 walk to get into the higher spec model. Also, sports wagon, station wagon, estate. We just call it estate, and everyone can agree on that. That version of the car is coming in 2023. Looks pretty good as well, actually, as does the 308 version. That there's been plenty of shots around of. We really do love a ramp around Dublin, don't we? Like, it's just, let's stick a ramp in. This ain't nothing. One of the claims from Opel was that it's a very solid kind of designed to be stable at autobahn speeds type car. And while I'm not doing anything like that, and we're in Ireland obviously, you do feel it's a very solid planted car. Despite it being a little bit taller and wider, it still feels like it's got a nice low center of gravity, and you do kind of feel like you're behind the wheel of something that's solid. I don't know if it's a subconscious thing, a placebo effect, but it feels heavier than the 308, particularly in the diesel model. In fairness, I haven't driven the diesel version of the 308, so the engine would be heavier. You get CarPlay and Android Auto. It's wireless, so that's a nice thing to have. There's heated seats on this SRI version of the car. There's climate control. It really is all the spec you're kind of going to need. So again, middle version of the Astra is probably where I'd be putting my money. You'll kind of need long arms to reach the controls, and I've found it the same in the 308 also. It's just a bit of a stretch away from you. But layout wise is okay. It's quite easy to use. You've got big huge sort of square buttons that work everything, and the display of the main instruments is also very clear. That might be something that the 308, for example, might annoy you with the design of the steering wheel, because you don't get as much exposure to all your instruments. There's more to see in the Opel for sure. 4.5 litres per 100 kilometers, easily achievable in the diesel version of the car. And also when you get into same vehicle, you will have a range of over 1,000 kilometers in a full tank of diesel, which will just about get you across and back anywhere in Ireland. I like the Opel Astra. I like it more when it has a brighter colour. Some people have commented on the other video that it's maybe a bit bland compared to what it used to be like. Good entry-level price point at under 28,000 euro for the standard car. I suppose the main thing was going to be what sort of deals can you get in terms of credit if you're trying to buy one on PCP or something like that, because it's a really crowded market. It's good, but it's not necessarily standout good, but it's a solid offering from a brand that is very familiar to Irish customers if they're of a certain vintage. So it's more kind of the devil you know. Anyway, thank you for watching. Comments, questions, any thoughts, comment section below, please. And I'll see you in the next one.